Happy Easter po sa inyong lahat. You're a very youthful and very enthusiastic congregation this evening, and just as well because it's the most important day of our liturgical calendar. Incidentally, we can probably begin reflecting on today's mystery by repeating what St. John the Evangelist said in the third line of today's Gospel. While it was still dark. While it is still dark. While it's dark, it's not the end or the final chapter of our story. It is an unfolding story, and in fact, the two great feasts that we have in our Roman Catholic liturgical calendar both have to do with lights. Christmas, the Feast of Lights par excellence. Easter, we did the greatest celebration, the highest celebration in our calendar last night, the night of all nights, when we blessed the new fire, and when we lit the Paschal candle, when we renewed our baptismal promises that we will do after the homily also today. Two great feasts, the Feast of Christmas, the Feast of Easter. Two big seasons, but in terms of fanfare, glitter, glamour, Christmas wins hands down. Why? Because it's pushed by the world of commerce, by the world of consumerism. And so, thanks to Jo Marie Chan, Christmas begins on September 1. And Easter, we started with Ash Wednesday in preparation for the great season of Easter, 40 days of Lent, but then after Palm Sunday, where we came in droves to churches carrying palms, we forgot about him. The culture is changing. In terms of Christmas, it is better off because our culture still has the Simbang Gabi that is very much attached to the culture, to the meaning of what Christmas is all about. The 9 days of Simbang Gabi in the Philippines really solidifies and strengthens and confirms our looking forward, our excitement to the day when Christ would be born. But let me tell you a sort of bad news, if I may be allowed. Christmas won't have any meaning if we didn't have today. The birth of Christ would not have any theological finality if Easter had not taken place. If the Christ became man like us, who suffered, who died, did not rise from the dead, then there is no solemnity of Easter. In terms of meaning, therefore, in terms of theological import, in terms of greatness, grandeur, and glory, Easter is the day. But our culture is changing. Kung ang ating Pasko ay napalitan ng commerce, and it begins on September 1, Easter has been changed by our culture of beach escapades. After coming to church on Palm Sunday, we forgot about the Paschal Triduum, the Mass of the Lord's Supper on Holy Thursday Eve, and then the Good Friday, the veneration of the cross. There are not too many people coming to church on the Paschal Triduum. Nagbabago ang kultura. At ang kultura noong araw na tunay na paghahanda para sa dakilang kapistahan ng muling pagkabuhay ng Panginoon, na aligagang-aligaga ang mga may hawak na mga estatwa, ngayon ay napalitan ng mga kamarero at kamarera. At ang maraming mga estatwa ng Holy Week sa maraming lugar sa Metro Manila, in the city centers, ay napalitan ng parang kultura ng Miss Universe. Si Maria Magdalena dinamitan na parang ikakasal. At ang mga santa at santo ay dinadamitan ng mga bagay na kung anong uso. In other words, yung dating marangal, marangya, na barok, na estilo ng pagdadamit sa mga estatwa ngayon ay parang Miss Universe ang dating. Nagbabago ang ating kultura. Be that as it may, I'd like to go back to what I started out with. While it was still dark. Yes, it's still dark in many senses. There is war going on in Gaza, and people are dying, innocent children are dying, even as I speak, and water and food is blocked by a very powerful nation by the name of Israel. There is war in the Ukraine, and the three great powers appear to be carving the earth among themselves. Yung isa gusto ang Greenland, ang Canada at ang Panama. Yung dating Soviet Empire ay gustong babawiin ang lahat ng miyembro ng Soviet Empire. At the bully country northwest of us, wants Taiwan, wants Vietnam, wants the Philippines, and all the rest of the world. We are in dark times. While it is still dark, we need to talk about the light. We need to talk about hope. And even if that is the case, I would like to tell you that even if we may be discouraged by so many things, there are so many images of Easter that we can revel in, glory in, and enjoy, and notice. On a morning like this morning when the sun rose in the east, napakagandang sunrise. The sun rising could be an image of hope. It is an image of Easter. It is an image of new life. When you look at the flower blooming, when you go to the place in Ascaraga, we call that Escaraga before, Recto, and buy flowers from the mountain province, and you see a freshly cut flower or a plant in bloom, that's an image of hope, an image of new life, an image of Easter. When you find joy in the midst of sorrow, which I see every Thursday morning when I do sick visitation, even in the midst of sicknesses that apparently have no resolution, no solutions, I find joy, I find hope in the faces of the old, the sick, and the frail. They are never hopeless. Image of Easter. When we find it in our heart to hope in the midst of despair, when despite our country being one of the most corrupt nations on earth, we find hope and we look towards a better future. These are images of Easter. But it is not Easter itself. For as long as we have not reveled and put our attention on the Holy Week, especially in the Paschal Triduum, kung kailan natin binabalatan unti-unti, tinatalupan ng layer by layer ang sinaad ng lumang tipan ng mga propeta at ang nalalaman sa bagong tipan sa mga passion narratives na ating naririnig tuwing mahal na araw, we have not gotten to the essence of Easter. Hanggang image lamang tayo, hanggang larawan. Kung tayo hindi nakisama sa paglalakbay sa Kalbaryo, then the image of a flaming or a blooming flower or the sunrise will just be an Instagrammable picture. It is only good for TikTok. It is only good for WhatsApp or Facebook. Today, we are in church. We are in church for a reason. And that reason is in our Catholic Christian imagination. What we see as images become real. We do that every time we celebrate Mass. Every time we go into the Paschal Triduum, we seem like, starting on Palm Sunday, we appear like there is drama unfolding. Yes, there is drama in the liturgy, but the liturgy is not a telenovela. The liturgy is not drama. The liturgy is not a novel. The liturgy is not wakasan. The liturgy goes on because what it represents has to do with life eternal. And today we hear it from no less than the one who promised, I will suffer and die in the hands of your leaders, but this temple will be built once more after 3 days and will rise once more. He did his promise. He actualized His promise. Pinatunayan niya ang kanyang pangako. Ito ang liturhiya, hindi ito drama, hindi po ito maalaala mo kaya. History is what you commemorate. Mystery is what we celebrate. Mystery is what we make real. Mystery is what we make actual. And this mystery is actualized in me, in you, in all of us. On Good Friday, the altar was bare. The focus was not on the altar of sacrifice. The focus was on the sacrificial victim. On Holy Thursday Eve, in the Mass of the Lord's Supper, we did the Mass of the Lord's Supper. And after that, the altar was made bare and barren. And Saturday, there was massive silence, expectant silence, hopeful silence. And then it broke open with the glory of the new fire and the new light, opening hope once more. If liturgy actualizes, I have got a question for myself and for each and every one of us. If liturgy focuses on the actual and the real and the glorious and the great, not the glamorous and the glittering, not just the fanfare, but the theologically sound, meaningful grandeur and glory of God, then we need to make real what we proclaim in word. It has to become sacrament too. And allow me to suggest to you areas in our life where there is darkness. There will continue to be darkness if we elect and continue to elect family dynasties. In many provinces in our country, ang gobernador pareho ipilido ng vice governor. Asawa niya yung vice governor. Yung anak ay mayor. Yung anak na babae ay congresswoman. Wala na bang iba? This is darkness. This is not what God wants. If we see and realize that we are still victimized by drugs, and drugs continue to pillory our young people and to give our country a lot of problems, we are in darkness. We need Christ. We need the resurrection. We need to make it real. If you believe in your heart and actually know that about 500,000 foreigners from that northwest, that bully country northwest of us, became artificial Filipino citizens, courtesy of the Department of Immigration and the Philippine Statistics Office, and so many other branches of government. We are a sinful people. We need to journey with Christ in Calvary. We need to die to sin so as to rise to new life. And this is what I mean by sacramental imagination. If liturgy were just drama, I wouldn't be talking of this. Let's enjoy the drama. Let's enjoy the show. Let's enjoy the singing and the dancing and the prayer and our rejoicing. But no, liturgy is sacrament. Liturgy has to become real and actual, and we have to actualize it. Yes, images of Easter abound, but let us not remain on just simple images: the sun rising, the flower blooming, the joy in the midst of sorrow, hope in the midst of despair. The object of our belief is not an event, it's a person who lived that event. He died, he rose, and he reigns forever with the Father in heaven. The object of our belief is the resurrection. This is the object of our hope, the reason for our joy, the foundation of our rebirth, and the reason for our new life. What's missing for you and me? Let's do it. And I'm not talking of Nike. Just do it.